What is good, everybody? It's your boy Randy Anderson here with another episode of The Word on the Ave. Today, man, we'll be talking about the gender roles. Actually, we'll be talking about the viral clip, the clip that video that went viral, not clip, of the older man. We'll call him uncle. The uncle that said that he was married. He said, "I've been married to my wife for 18 years, and she never paid a bill." Because that's what a real man does. So, with all that being said, let's get into the video.
Hey, Daddy, I need to hear that first part again. You said you've been married to your wife 18 years and she ain't never paid what?
I've been married to my wife for 18 years, going on 19 years. My wife has never paid a mortgage payment. She's never paid a gas bill, electric bill. She's never paid a cable bill. She's never had to pay insurance for her cars. I pay for all that. But that's what a fucking man does for his family. I'm not on no pedestal behind it, but that's what a man does. A man takes care of his family. My wife shouldn't have to worry about a goddamn mortgage payment. She doesn't have to worry about the lights being on, gas being on, food in the motherfucking refrigerator. She don't pay for food. She don't pay for none of that. That's my motherfucking job. Understand me? You don't have to be on a pedestal to do that shit. That's what a man do, and a man don't brag about that shit. I'm not bragging at all, but that's what a fucking man does. A man that got 8 children and 12 grandchildren.
Say it again.
Okay.
And I've never been under one child support order in my life.
And you take care of all of them. You do for
And
all
I
of
do
them.
for all my kids, whenever they need me, all they gotta do is call their daddy, and I'm right there.
And
So if you meet a motherfucking nigga that can't treat you the way your father treats you, you don't need that motherfucker.
Facts.
Mouthful.
Hello, good fucking bye.
Mouthful said, goddammit.
Okay?
Mouthful said.
Say that shit, MG.
Mouthful said.
Say that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Why you need a
know,
motherfucker?
let it go.
Why you need? Why you need? Why do you need a motherfucker that can't do for you? Can't do more for you than your own father? I set the fucking standard.
That's right. Amen.
If a nigga can't do more than what your father do for you, you don't fucking need him. Why you need a man that can't do? If my dad can do that shit, nigga, I don't need you.
That's what I tell my
Fuck
girls.
that.
If I
Your
can
father
do
set the
it, you need that
standard,
motherfucker.
and a lot of
You
niggas
got
set the,
them.
and a lot of niggas set the standard so fucking low, they fuck their girls up. They girls up. You set that standard that low, that fucks your girls up. Cause then they go out there and go for any shit. You gotta set that standard fucking high, right here. So she'd be like, I don't want a nigga that's not gonna treat me as good as my father. I can call my dad, and I don't give a fuck where I could be on the goddamn moon. Dad, I'm on my motherfucking way.
That's right.
And y'all know that.
Amen.
Y'all can be anywhere on this on God's green earth as long as I'm above goddamn ground. You call me and say, Daddy, help me. Motherfucker, before you drop the goddamn phone, I'm standing right there. What you need, baby?
That's a damn
I'm
man
like, this is
fight.
why I love my fucking father.
Yeah, y'all
That's
got
what
the
that
best
shit about.
father in the world.
That's what that shit about.
I'm trying to
And I'm going to tell you again,
They
it's
go
not about
nowhere,
being on the
yeah.
fucking pedestal.
He just-
It's not about being on the pedestal. It's not about somebody telling you how good you are. Because here's the thing. I don't need a motherfucker to tell me I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Understand me? About women to take care of their kids and they know dad there and all that type of shit. Put the woman on the pedestal for doing your fucking job as a goddamn man. But when I do this, when I do what I'm supposed to do, nigga, you ain't gotta praise me to do what the fuck I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do that. You don't gotta, oh, he great. No, you don't. I don't need to be on a motherfucking pedestal because I'm doing what the fuck I'm supposed to do for a life I brought into this world. That shit crazy. It's crazy. Niggas want to get paid because they pay a child support payment. I'll pay this. You want to be on a motherfucking pedestal because you send a goddamn check, but your kid don't never fucking see you. A goddamn check don't go to the basketball game. A check don't go to the school to see how good you're doing. A check don't help you with goddamn homework, nigga. You provided a check. The fuck is that?
Yeah.
Your kid want to see you, nigga.
That's right. You stand on a whole.
Any nigga with a dick can make a baby. It take a real motherfucker to be a father.
Amen.
Woo-hoo, that last, ooh boy, that last little bit, that was some fire right there. So man, let's go ahead and have this conversation. Corey, you want to go ahead and start it off?
What do y'all? I'm gonna ask you specifically. I know you had something to say on it, Randy, earlier. What do you think about it? What do you think about it?
Honestly, he's right on plenty of it, on a lot of these things. But the only thing Only thing I'm not gonna say I have an issue with is, it's 2019 now. You know what I'm saying? If you're not working two to three jobs, you struggling in damn near a one person household, not even two.
Yeah.
That's not including kids and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So your wife, I understand that's how it was back in the day, but it's got to be, if it's not both of y'all putting money into the house. You know what I'm saying? I understand people hate the whole 50-50, the 50-50 split thing, but it's kind of got to be like that now. It's got to be like that these days. So,
do you think he was taking that angle? Do you think he was taking that angle? Do you think he was taking that angle, or is he just taking it from a stance of, not even worrying about what the next person is doing because he's going to be accountable for his regardless?
Oh, he was taking he's like, I'm taking care of mine regardless. But where I'm coming from was, I'm coming from the 2019 viewpoint of it and how I see it. Yeah. And like I don't know about everybody else, but like I like to be prepared for damn near anything. So I like to have a vision of everything ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? So I like to be able to all right, X amount of dollars is going to the mortgage every month. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I like to be organized pretty much. You know what I'm saying? With everything I do. And so that's how I'm thinking. So yeah, I mean, if I'm working 80 hours a week and she's working X amount of hours a week, you know what I'm saying? We take pretty much whatever's in my paycheck and we take whatever is in her paycheck and we put that into one pot. Not even, we'll take 50-50 from each of our paychecks, put it into one pot, pay off the mortgage, pay off whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then she has money left over, and then I have money for the household and whatever else needs to be left over and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how I see it. That's how I viewed it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? What about you, Miss Lauren? What do you think? What do you think about this?
Well, I absolutely 100% agree with him, but I have my reasons, and I understand that the cost of living is really high now, but the reality is that when we think about that, we're only thinking about our own situation. So, it is possible for someone to make enough money on a job to support a two-person household, one person, and he said he had 8 kids, so that's a 10-person household. It is possible from a job. It's also possible that if you have a job that you work 40 hours a week that pays $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year, and then whatever you don't have, you got a side hustle to make up. And that's cool too. That's a man's job. That's what he's supposed to do. I don't understand where men think that I can go out also as a mother, as a wife, and work 40 hours a week, and these kids still have the absolute best of me. This house still have the absolute best of me, and our schedule, our calendar, our outings have the absolute best parts of my mind. Yeah. It's not going to happen because I just gave 40 hours up to somebody else's dream.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So him saying, I'm going out to make the bread is what part he didn't have to touch on because it wasn't a subject matter. But to me, it automatically insinuated that his wife is at home making a house, making a home, making sure their kids is on track, making sure that everything is right. He didn't say, I was with my wife for 18 years, that bitch wasn't contributing nothing, so I had to let her go. No, he kept his house, his bills together so his wife could do exactly her part. I would hate the idea that, honestly, so there are people that I know who are providers, right? Mm-hmm. In fact, I have a provider in my life, but we won't even talk about me. We'll talk about a couple that I know, right? She had a really great job up until the mid-90s at WDAF in Kansas City, Channel 4 or whatever. She's making good money. Her husband also made good money. They had a couple homes at times. Now they have one home, but They live off of 55th and Forest. They've been able to do everything that they want to do to their home, all kind of additions. They got the cars that they want to drive and everything. But let me tell you something else. All three of her kids been to prison. I went to high school with one of them. He set off a bomb at our school at Paseo High School in 1996. He went to prison for arson. Her other son was part of the conglomerate that put together the nightclub called Life that was there in 1999 down in downtown. Mm-hmm. He went to prison for counterfeit money and for that. Some white collar crimes. He's also a cocaine.
Yeah.
She got her youngest son stole her debit card, took all her money. This is like 10 years ago. Took all the money out of her account, her and her husband's. Right? What could have been the difference if she was a full-time stay-at-home mom? And we have to take a real serious look at that. Yeah. A real serious look at that and say, how much more better could the state of the household, because this could apply for white, black, whoever. Mm-hmm. How much better could the state of the household be if the mother is left to her role?
True, but you have to understand. Okay, not understand, but you have to realize people. I'm not trying to generalize people, but we have a group of people that want to be, or that say that they can do the same thing as a man. But when you said that they shouldn't, they put down the man pretty much. Like, oh, I can do the same thing as a man does, but I still want to be treated a certain type of way.
Well, that's the whole feminist movement, and I do not agree with them. I believe that a man should be able to work, and a man should work, and a woman should have the choice or the option in a marriage. Like, not the everyday woman who's single, no kids, not that one. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the woman in a marriage. It should be her choice. I don't think a man should be able to tell her, I don't want you to work, or I don't want you working, or you can't work, or whatever. But she should have the choice if she wants to work, and whatever she brings into the house should be considered extra. And if you and just to be honest, to put this in perspective, because we're talking about like how much money is needed now to be in a household. If you need your wife to work, you living beyond your means. If you need her to work, she got to work. Something wrong about how y'all living. Y'all got the wrong kind of cars. Y'all living in the wrong kind of neighborhood. Y'all living in the wrong city. Y'all eating at the wrong restaurants. Because if you need your wife to work, something going on with your priorities.
Okay. Yeah.
Got a rebuttal for that, Randy?
Nah. I mean, I agree with what she's saying. I definitely agree with what she's saying, because a lot of people in 2019 going into 2020, they are living above their means. You know what I'm saying? They're living for the lifestyle on Instagram and Facebook and to impress their friends and stuff like that. And
exactly.
They're stressing while online they look nice and happy.
Exactly. 110%. Just like I was just talking about the difference between Lancaster, Palmdale, and LA. I need to find a place to move by next month. The average one bedroom in San Diego is $1,800. That's the studio, excuse me. $1,800 per month.
That's just as bad as LA.
Make a decision to leave. What's the difference? I'm choosing to live above my means. Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of people are doing. They don't have to be living that lavish. You can, even from Kansas City, if Kansas City is a little bit too expensive for you, find yourself out there in Belton. Mm-hmm. And you might have to drive a little bit more to get it to where you want to go, but you and your wife ain't struggling.
But that driving factors into expenses. The gas consumed, also with the rise of the economy. There's validity, a strong validity to what he says. It should be that way. We We speak on this all the time.
There's some. I'm not gonna.
Go ahead, Lauren.
I'm not gonna say it is all the time because you have to adjust. Am I okay? Am I coming across clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Not all the time. Like literally, like if we're saying, okay, well, if you live in a city, you're gonna save some money on the commute. So if you live outside the city, you're gonna spend more money on the commute. Where you need to eat out one day less per week. Like it's about adjustments and decisions.
Yeah,
that's true.
That does factor in.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But with this, so does it make a man any less of a man if he can't fulfill that?
What do you mean?
Does he not fit the criteria? Because as a man, that's what he should do. He should be paying all the bills. So if he doesn't fulfill that, that's with the ground set being that's the criteria of a man. He can't be a man because he's not able to fulfill that, right?
In certain
he should be able to do it. Now, there are a lot of men out here that are remaining single for the right reasons. I can't take care of nobody else right now. Stay single. Single women have a problem with the men who try to act like they can, but when it comes time to show and prove, they coming up short.
What about the relationships that aren't built up with that? What about with women who are trying to build with the man and it's not based off of that?
That is rare. Because it's all about the appearance for a lot of females.
No, that's not rare. Do you know how many women out here that they put everything on the line? Now they leave themselves open a lot of times that they get screwed over.
Right.
But that's not always the case.
That's
not always the case.
I get that, but that was another point that he brought up. The father figure. Usually father figures aren't in those homes, and females look for their father in a man. And if that dude, he said it, he's explained it perfectly, damn near. He said, if I'm not giving you the top tier to where another man can't live up to that, another man cannot come to that level and or go above and beyond that, we're talking about monetarily. So are we just leaving it to monetarily and economics? Are there other ways to see the man in a person? Can you see the potential? Can you see the growth? Because we can very easily distinguish. There's people out here that are struggling, but they put in that work. They put in the growth. They got the growth in different things. We're not able to distinguish that?
What we're saying about that person is that they still shouldn't be married. When you decide that you need to be married, you need to be in this committed long-term relationship. At that point, when you make that decision, you need to be able to provide. When you just a boyfriend, you dating and all that kind of stuff, it's nice if you can carry the tab. You know what I mean? But it's not a requirement. It's not a requirement until you get married and you tell somebody else's daughter, I'm now responsible for you.
Okay. So
that's a good one.
So we're doing this off of the basis that, give me a percentage of the amount of people that are running their own businesses, working everything, getting their income, and not having to rely on the system.
I don't have.
You can't come with it. There's no way we'll be able to.
Honestly, there is, because if you take a look at
you're breaking up. Lauren, you're breaking up.
And this is just an estimate. It's not an actual number. It's based off of what you and you two, Brandon, that y'all
right there. You kind of got a micro Oh, sorry, I'm in commerce.
Okay.
How am I now? Am I okay?
Yeah.
You're a little shaky, but yeah.
Yeah. Y'all gonna see where I'm about to go here in a second.
Okay. So, no, I'm telling you that you can come up with this number, because what you have to look at is the number that's
Oh, you shaky again. Lauren, you shaky.
Well, there's no, you're breaking up a little bit.
every single week, and that is the unemployment rate.
All right,
Oh, the unemployment rate is
Take the
skewed also.
unemployment rate.
There's actually more
Okay,
people
I
that
get
are
this right.
unemployed. Now it comes for many different reasons. It comes for many different reasons. Not all the time that is a person is not looking, because there's been plenty of people out here that are struggling to find work, and it's just not, there's a limited number, you know what I'm saying? There's plenty of jobs, but there's not an infinite amount of jobs. There's not as many jobs as there are people, and for the jobs itself, there's not enough spaces in those jobs to supply all these people. The unemployment numbers are extremely high. They talk about 5% or something, when the actuality is somewhere around 40 to 50%.
Okay, how am I now?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you clear.
So I was saying that we could take a look at the unemployment rate and the people who are actually not on social services, and to answer your question, that's how we can figure out the number of people who are running their own businesses. Right?
But those numbers can be, and we can go off those. But I'm asking, how many do you personally know that, and just an estimate, because we may not know the exact number, and I'm not saying an actual number, but just a percentage from 10 to 20%. How many do you think actual are self-reliant to where they'll always be able to come to the people if they get cut off, if they go to that white man's door like Colin Kaepernick is trying to do, and that white man tell them, no, we don't want you in here? How many people do you know that are self-sufficient within that manner?
Okay, am I okay right now? Can you hear me? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so me personally, I am 100% self-employed, and maybe it's because of that I only know people who are self-employed.
Okay.
Right now, as I say here on this phone call with you, I have to tell you, I know out of all the people I know, and I know a lot of people, less than 5 people that I know. So let's even call it 10% of people that I know have a job. Like a job.
So about 90% of the people that you know are self-sufficient.
9% of.
You breaking up, or you broke up, Laura? You broke up. You left off at 9. You left off at 9%, or
whatever reason.
90%.
90% of the people that I know have their own business or work on demand. So I'm including on demand, right? So that's like Lyft, Uber, DoorDash, Postmates, blah, blah, blah. These are people who are also self-employed, right? So that's called the gig economy.
Uber, I'll say this, Uber and Postmates, that's still working. You're still under contract. They actually tax you yearly.
Well, this is the thing. I am currently a Lyft driver. I do Lyft every day of the week, 7 days a week in the morning. So 7 days a week in the morning, I'm a Lyft driver. I do not work for anybody. I work for myself. They give me a 1099. Whether or not you get a 1099 from Lyft, or whether or not you go and fix toilets every day and somebody pays you and you give them a receipt, you're taxed on all of it. You're not taxed unless you're working completely under the table, cash, no paper. Okay? And even the people who I love and adore, who have all the food trucks out here, they are also taxed at the end of the day. So
I know some cats that aren't being taxed now. They working under the table, but they not being taxed. But
so that's completely different.
But that's a whole nother
working for somebody.
Yeah.
I do not. I work for myself. I have my own business,
Yeah.
And
Talk about
I
it.
contract through Lyft through an app, right? But I don't work for Lyft.
You breaking up again. You said you work for
Break
Lyft.
it up. I go on my.
Let me ask you this.
How am I doing?
Do you think now, because of the people, you said, so you estimated around 90% of the people that you know, but you're within their circles. So do you believe, so you've been able to do well for yourself and climb, you know what I'm saying, and climb up the ladder? Do you believe that you know that many people because that's the circle you're around, right?
Yes, I do believe it's because of the circle that I am around. In fact, people who have a job have a hard time being around me for too long.
Right.
Because, of course, I'm constantly talking about taking your job away from your company and recontracting yourself back to your company.
Right.
Like, if people really want to get in a conversation with me about fears, really it boils down to fear. I don't want to leave my job because I'm not going to have 401k. I'm not going to have benefits. I ain't going to have PTO, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't start working for myself because I wanted to work less. I work way more now that I'm self-employed. But it's about my discipline. I offer myself my own benefits. I got my own retirement package because that company can walk me out the door, and many have at any time. I am replaceable. Right here in this position of self-employment, I am not replaceable. I have to show up for me every single day. So when I talk to people about showing up, like literally every day, who are you showing up for? Are you showing up for yourself, or are you showing up for somebody else's dream? And that's what makes people not want to talk to me on a regular who are employed.
Right.
I'm not trying to diss nobody. I'm not trying to come at nobody sideways or whatever. I'm not even trying to say that I'm better than you. But what I am saying is a true statement. And it does. I don't even have to encourage you, but I want to be able to tell you to less discern.
Yeah.
Do I work harder? Do I work longer hours? Can I not always do things? True. But let's not forget, my grandfather was sick 2 years ago. I held his hand until he died because I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I took off 2 months in the year 2017 because I can do that. 2 years before that, no, excuse me, not 2, how many years before that? My aunt was sick. I went to visit her in Kansas City when she was in the hospice.
Yeah.
I went back to California and she passed away. I tried to take off of work for bereavement. They said, well, didn't you just go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she was sick then. Now I'm going back for her funeral. I had to ask in theory, I had to ask somebody, could I take off of work to be with my family? Like, how much sense do that really make? You know what I mean? So I have a hard time talking to people who's employed when it comes down to real fucking shit.
Well,
and by that, I mean, like, even for your kids, you having to say, I ain't gonna make it to my kids' game, because do that make sense to you? And when you say it out loud, really, does it? Sometimes
you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do.
You got to do that if you self-employed.
Yeah.
So I'm
especially if you self-employed. That it takes more time.
It takes more discipline and more time.
Much more time. Yes.
I grind every single day. So that Tuesday I was in Bakersfield so I could be with my stepdaughter having her baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I stayed, all the kids having babies now. I drive from here to Sacramento, here to Bakersfield, whatever it takes so I could be by their side. If I was at a job, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Okay, so
they're going to be like, you want to take off because somebody having a baby? Yeah, I do.
So let me ask you this, because we can all understand the concept that, especially as Black folks, do you agree? I'm not going to put words in your mouth. Do you agree that we as Black folks got to work 10 times harder? Do you agree? Do you believe in that?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Because to be honest with you, some people get away. bit more because of the color of their skin, but
Okay.
tenacity will get you where you want to go.
Okay.
Being tenacious will get you to where you want to go. It's
You breaking up.
just too many black people give up. How's it now?
You good? You good? Yeah.
I'm good. Okay. Too many black people give up early when the what do they call it? When the rough gets going, when the tough gets going, they give up and they like, oh, this is too hard. I seen my white counterpart or my Jewish counterpart not have to go through so many hoops. Maybe, but hard work pays off, and you don't really honestly and truly know what that white or that Jewish person had to get through to get there. Prime example, David Geffen owns Geffen Records, used to own part of Pixar. Okay, David Geffen was kicked out of his record label. They laughed at him so hard, he put in $300,000, and they laughed at him so hard they threw his money back at him. Said, "Keep your little funky dollars." David Geffen is one of the richest people in the world now. That's a Jew. He should have had all the wherewithal on the planet, but his own people kicked him out the game. So look how far he had to crawl back just to get back into the game.
Yeah.
So no, Diddy didn't have to work harder than David Geffen. No, he didn't. Period.
So let me ask you this next question then. Do you believe that everybody can be a boss? Because, you know, everybody wants to be a boss, but not everybody is cut out to be that. Everybody's not cut out to be that. So everybody's not going to have that extra oomph to try to get over the edge. A lot of people, they work hard every day. They go to work, they show up on time, they bust their ass. Of course, you're not from a boss's standpoint, you don't want people, especially the way the economy and how things are set up, you definitely don't want to have a damn job. But not everybody is a boss.
Well,
This
let's
just
make
numbers.
one.
Just numbers alone. Now you can dispute this yourself. And I'll get the source later, but this is from what I've read. So this is from what I've read. This is numbers. 90% of black-owned businesses don't even have employees. So when I bring this up, what I say is, is everybody able to be a boss? Because it takes a lot more than just, and I don't know your situation, though. I'm not talking to you, but I'm talking about just people in general. Like I said, going off of those numbers that were presented to me. There's a lot more that goes into the process of being a boss. Can everybody be a boss? Because there has to be a worker, right?
Yeah. Not everybody can be a boss, but not everybody can be a boss.
Not everybody can be a boss.
Not everybody can be a boss because everybody doesn't have, I'm not gonna say that it factor, but that drive, like you said, that drive or that wherewithal, like, yo, I can actually do this. You know what I'm saying?
Lauren, I think you're muted.
Lauren?
Lauren's muted. I don't know if she's talking or not.
She might be talking to somebody. But everybody.
Okay, how am I doing? I'm here.
Oh, okay, there you go. Well,
there you go.
Go ahead.
Okay. What I was going to say was, let's clearly define boss at this point. So boss is a person. A boss is a person who provides opportunities. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, black-owned businesses not having employees does not mean that they are not providing opportunities. Okay. Number one, more black families are understanding the concept of having your family work for you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Are you here? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means employing your family. So when you're employing your family, you're still just a black-owned business. It's being operated and owned by your business. However, by your family. But let's keep in mind that employment is not the only type of opportunity. Okay, so we got somebody like, for example, we got out here. I'm trying to think of the vegan restaurants, right?
Oh, the
The
Slutty
vegan
vegan.
restaurant is family owned, right? But they get their vegetables from a black urban farm. They didn't employ that farm, but that farm is their vendor.
Mm-hmm.
So employment is not the same as an opportunity. So it's
Look,
easy, especially for the white narrative, honestly, to kind of skew it like, oh, there are no jobs of that small black-owned businesses. There doesn't need to be a job. That's not the only way to create an opportunity.
Okay. All
okay,
right.
okay.
What was you gonna
So
say?
with that being said, that the what it does is we'll get into the nitty gritty. What it does when you do that and you leave it, you leave the I don't give a damn about labels and like that, but we'll just the characterization, what a man and what a woman's supposed to be doing and things like that. But there's no real way to do relationship. Do shit that works for y'all. Just like if you got two motherfuckers that they choose to have a broken relationship, other people may not agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how there's plenty. There's contrary to what people think, there's plenty of people that get by just like polygamous relationships. Like I said, that's
Right.
unconventional, but plenty of people get by, and that's how they run this stuff. Now there comes a lot of responsibility with running a relationship like that. But we're in the game. We're playing the game. We're not playing the TV, the TV dad, and things like that. What that man said was 100% true, and men should take that into account. Not only because of our stature, because of how we're built. See, one thing he does need to take into account is be happy that you didn't get sick within that time, because different things, life pops up. You can get sick, anything. Be happy because it wasn't all you. I believe in the higher power, but I don't know how it affects. So I'm not going to say the higher power allowed this to happen or whatnot. I don't have knowledge of that. I'm not God. I'm just a man. But be happy that you did not have any ailments or anything to set you back for that. Another thing, a lot of people get to where they're going. They play the game, meaning they go to these jobs because you said yourself that a job is not conducive. Having a job is not conducive, right?
Not too
But
creative.
a lot of that is their stepping stone. They accumulate things through those jobs.
That's factual.
One thing that has always been
Right.
slavery was an economic. Things like slavery, things like racism, Jim Crow, all of those were made to calcify the wealth and give the power to a person that does not like you for the color of your skin. And that is not a scapegoat, because a lot of times, let's be honest, niggas do fuck around. There's a lot of people out here that aren't looking for jobs, a lot of niggas out here that aren't looking for jobs, and there's a lot of niggas that are bullshitting on the job. Sitting up there coming in late every damn day, coming in smelling like weed, half-assing on the job, not playing the damn game. Not playing the damn game out here. But there's a healthy amount of people that get a raw deal, that are getting fucked over. But they have to work these jobs. They have to do what they have to do at the moment. Work jobs, even starting your own business takes time. And a lot of times you'll lose money getting that started.
Absolutely, and that's where a job actually should come in handy, and what specifically our people should be using a job for.
Right.
The bigger issue in our community is the fact that because of entertainers mostly, you think you would just jump from your couch to the lifestyle, right? Nobody is really talking about the grind, and I really feel like if anybody did a great job of putting that on, like this is how you really get it, was Nipsey Hussle, obviously, or whatever.
Rest in peace,
However,
King.
let's make a really clear discernment
I,
on
I,
jobs
hold on,
and creating
let me
your
say
own
this about Nipsey Hussle, Lauren. Let me say this.
Mhm.
I would rather they look at a person like you for inspiration versus a person like Nipsey Hussle, because the way that they want you to believe that rap, because Nipsey Hussle got this through music. He was able to accumulate what he was doing and then make moves. He was able to do it through the entertainment industry. A lot
That's
of
true.
a lot of the black people that we see that are put on the forefront, they have to get it, and it ain't nothing wrong with it. But we're talking about the process and the methods that are used. They prop these people. They put them as basketball players. They put them as basketball players, rappers, football players. Have them dominate that. And then those guys, see, wealth is extremely calcified. When you talk about black wealth and where the money is at, it's mainly put within those guys. And then they look at those guys and they say, well, y'all got some millionaires. Y'all doing good. You know what I'm saying? But only limiting them and only showing, especially showing from the image, because a lot of people, image affects a lot of different things also. So when all you're seeing is to get it through a rapper and as a, you know what I'm saying, a basketball player, and through entertainment, through the bread and circuses of life. Viewers of bread and circuses. I'm not just saying a word. That's actually something that's been used throughout time since Rome, all of it. Bread and circuses. These are bread and circuses, and they give off the illusion of black wealth. But a lot of people, so I would want them to look at you, look at a person like you or the other people that you know as the symbol of I can make it, because that gives a realistic representation of what it really is and how to really make it, because not everybody can shoot a basketball and not everybody can spit a hot 16. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the important thing to remember really about Nipsey is that
Hello?
Lord, you broke up.
he only started rapping.
Hello? Oh yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Lord?
Hello,
Damn,
can you
you
hear me
lost.
now?
Yeah,
We ain't
we
losing,
can
did
hear you. We can hear you.
It's good. Okay.
Okay,
The
there
thing
we
to
go.
remember about the thing to remember about Nipsey is that he was selling shirts first, and he was thinking about all his other enterprises. He
Yeah.
actually used he reverse engineered this idea you're talking about. He used music, not the other way around. Like music didn't use him in the same way. But let's talk about employment and creating your own opportunity. Nipsey created his own opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Brown has a job. Chris Brown is an employee of a company. Okay, so it's very important to know, and unfortunately, it's not enough people who know that, right? So it sounds like I'm just talking to most people, but the thing about coming to a place where you're just like, okay, well, what does it really mean to move forward and and have a job, but eventually have my own business. A lot of people are working jobs that should be their own businesses. I'm gonna tell you something. Customer service. There is nobody who should be sitting on the phone right now in customer service. You go back to your employer, but this has to happen collectively. It can't happen on an individual basis. You go back to the employer and say, listen, I got a home office set up. It's got everything you need. My rate is $25, $30 an hour, because it costs them about $30 an hour to have you right there in that building. Okay? But they're paying you 12. I want the whole 30. Give me the whole 30 and I'll figure out how to keep the lights on. You see?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? In employment who don't have to be there.
Say it one more time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are employed and they're scared, right? They're scared to go out and try the self-employment thing.
Oh
But
yeah.
I'm saying they're in a job already that is actually can easily be switched to self-employment.
Yeah.
They just have to have the wherewithal, the right wording to go back to their employer and say, this is actually a service that I provide for my business, XYZ LLC, and this is my rate. And be doing the exact same job, because I'm going to tell you something. If somebody that's outside of retail, right? If somebody at your company that's employed, that company contracts that same exact task, the same exact task that you do on your job, there's an outside vendor that they buy that task from too.
Mm-hmm.
Every single position outside of retail. Clearly, you cannot sell shoes at Nordstrom from home, right? Okay, so retail, outside of retail, you could do that job from home. And also outside of the medical field, by the way. However, back to being employed on your own, you can always come to a hospital and say, I'm a nurse, here's my license, this is my fee.
Yeah.
You don't
Wow,
have
I
to
didn't
be
know that.
employed by the hospital. So those people that are scared to leave, I don't find them to be people who are just like,
And that's
laziness.
well,
no,
because it's not always that. And also you said they're scared to live. A lot of people aren't scared. A lot of people just don't understand it. When they don't understand the concept. A lot of people are only because we can both agree that yes, there are people that are scared, there are people that are laziness, but there's no way that we can quantify that, because we would have to be basically God and see this person's everyday life transaction, everyday life, and know what's going on inside of their head. So there's no way
Well, they always do surveys, research surveys figure these things out all the time.
Huh?
Research surveys figure these things out all the time. And I believe that it's probably around 80% of people who really want to be working for themselves.
There's no way to there's no physical way possible to be able to actually quantify that into an actual number, because you would actually have to know what that person, you would actually have to know that person's entire life and actually get inside of their head. See, these research surveys can, like I said, when I bring up the surveys, I'm not saying that the surveys are 100%. I'm just going off, I'm putting out numbers. When I tell people they have to do their own research and put different things together, but numbers can be skewed, just like the unemployment numbers can be skewed. People can come up with however many they think this person, like I can sit there and come up with grab 10 people, you know what I'm saying, and ask them something, and then I'd be like, 90% of the people say this, and I'd sit there and all you got to do is take that 9 out of 10 people and then try to equate that to, you know what I'm saying, 300, how many people in the country? Almost 350 million people. So you equate that and have 90% of those people and give the number whatever 90% of 350 million is, and you think you know what the whole country's thinking, and there's no way to possibly know that. There's no way to possibly know that.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about,
I think that I feel like that those numbers have become 100% clear by the fact that how many people have quit their jobs to become Uber drivers? Literally, how many people? We know this number. This is not a whimsical number. We know this number. This number can be Googled.
But there's many people. That's if their situation allows for that, because there's many people that are working the job and doing Uber. Matter of fact, I know a person that has 2 jobs and they do Uber full time, and this is an effect. And it's because they have to. It's an effect of the economy. It's not enough wages. People have to work these jobs. There's people
they don't have to.
Jobs, and even within that, if they don't,
let's be clear. The task needs to be done. The task needs
Oh,
to
there's
be
always
done.
going to be a task.
They
that
don't
needs to be
have
done.
to be right, but they don't have to be employed. You do not have to be employed to work at the place you work at right now. You could be a contractor to that business. You
So
don't
what?
have to be
That's
employed.
factual.
So what do you tell a 18-year-old that doesn't have any money left over, that doesn't have money left over or whatever, and has to have a place that has to provide for just himself? What do you tell him? And he doesn't have the different resources. And even if you can sit there and give it to them, and they still don't get the concept of how to get it going. A lot of people just can't get it going. What do you tell him then? What do you tell him then? And he has to get the money somehow. What do you tell that 18-year-old?
Right.
You're gonna want him.
First of all, it comes with experience, right?
Even with but it has to start somewhere. This is what I'm saying. It has to start somewhere, and it's a process, and it doesn't always kick off overnight. Especially, just imagine the person's in your and they're trying to do something. They're trying to do their own thing. And I don't know you, but we know, like I said, a lot of people. Somebody's supposed to be contributing within their house, right? So what if they sit up there and they're like, well, I got this business started, but it's not generating any money? What is that person who's running that house?
They need to go to work. They need to go to work and get everything. Let me tell you something about my perfect example is the airlines, okay? Since really the early 90s, the airlines have paid real shitty. Listen, you used to be able to get an airline job. It was starting over $20 an hour if you were scrubbing the toilet, okay? There used to be an airline job. Airline jobs are the most dangerous jobs on paying $10 an hour, starting whatever the minimum wage is in your state or whatever. That's what these jobs are starting at for the most dangerous, one of the most dangerous jobs.
But you're gonna have to. But they're gonna have to do what they do because I've seen cats do this up close, and I'm like, that makes no sense. I've seen cats be like, well, I'm not going. They only paying $9 an hour. I'm not gonna work that, and they go back and they.
But keep it real. This is the part that they are missing, and that you're missing from what I'm saying. If you have to have a job, you have to have a job.
Yeah.
You better milk that baby for everything that it offers. Everything. That's tuition reimbursement. If they got free classes, if they got lectures, if they bring in somebody from overseas to speak about a specific topic or technical topic, everything that they offer, soak it up. But if you just go into that job, you go into that Popeyes job, let's say for instance, you go into a Popeyes job for $10 an hour for 10 years and you still the cashier, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because in 10 years, everything has been made available to you for you to be a franchisee at a Popeyes. Everything has been made available to you. So you're a person that has no excuse. You should not be an employee. If you're 18 years old, it's your first job, you're trying to have your first little apartment, no problem.
Going off of that.
You should get a job.
All right, going off of that. So say that because this is a fact. A lot of these jobs, it's not about the hard work, it's about who you know. A lot of people that have gone through this. I'm talking about people I'm talking about folks that have been through the game, been all around everything. It's about who you know. So let's say that person has been that. There's a cutoff, there's a specific date to where they be supposed to be like, fuck this. What's their next move?
All right, explain it one more time. I want to make sure I got it right.
What's their next move? Because they shouldn't be there for 10 years. And I agree with that. They shouldn't be there for 10 years making the same. A lot of times it's based off, first of all, there's no reason for that, especially a person been there 10 years. A lot of times we can't say if it was that'd be dangerous and irresponsible for us to just put it on they didn't work hard enough or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not always the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when is the point, before that 10-year point comes up, when is the point to where you say, fuck it, and then what's the next move? Because let's say that person only making $10 an hour, so they're not making a lot of money. They're not making a lot of money. It takes a lot of money just to rent somewhere for $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month, and to have everything be sufficient and things like that. I say, and this is just an estimate, not an actual number. You need to at least be making at least $50,000 a year.
Right.
At least $50,000 a year, and that could be flawed, but at least $50,000 a year, and you're paying for just a paying $1,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? So they're not making a damn thing at Popeyes working for 10 years. To say they haven't saved up. So what's the next move? Do they start their own business?
Okay, so no, what I didn't say and what you did say was, when do you say fuck it? You never say fuck it. Never. You say, while I'm here, I'm gonna soak up everything that I can get. And that is from day one. It's a lot of people that watch this work. You might hear some people say, I'm working my side business, but I'm working on my job too until I make as much money on my side business that adds up to cover what I would be making at my job. Mm-hmm. Those are the smart people, right? Those are the people that's doing it the right way.
So
if
there's
some idea out there that you can work on a job for 5 years and get so frustrated you just quit and try to go into your backyard and make up something, that's never going to happen.
So I'm gonna bring it around. So I'm gonna bring it around now. So with that said, and let's say the person that we're speaking of is going with that concept and they understand that fully. Is he not going off what we said and what the whole thing is all about? Is he not able to be? Is he not entitled to be in a relationship? He should. Because going off what you said, he shouldn't be in any relationship, and no woman should even go for that. It's only about going off what you said. It's only about where his pockets. It's only about where his pockets are at. You know what I'm saying?
In order for him to, when he decides to get married, marriage.
Even if they want to get married. Because marriage is.
He needs to be able to provide.
You know exactly where I'm about to go with this. Marriage isn't real. Marriage is a filing status. Marriage is a filing status. The real marriage that comes through it's an agreement. Because all you got, you can write all the paperwork or whatever, file whatever downtown. You can file whatever. I'm married. You can file whatever you want downtown. Marriage is a filing status.
Okay, fine. When this man decides that he wants a woman in his bed every night, making his babies and all of that, that's at the point that he needs to be a provider. And you call that can call you whatever. Let's call it a union. However, if he's just dating, this man should not have the burden of providing all of those things that man in the video said he provides to his wife. That's a burden, okay? And you're not responsible for that burden until you want your woman to carry on this role of nurturing you, of keep maintaining a household and having babies.
But liabilities and assets.
What was that?
I said liabilities and assets.
But when you leave it at that, see, you leave it as, because it doesn't. We talk about it. It doesn't leave any growth. Like I said, it doesn't leave any room for growth for the man. It doesn't hold the woman in any sort of accountability. You know what I'm saying?
Of course it does. Nobody said, what is this woman doing? Laying in the bed all day? No.
Yep.
this woman is a person that this man has decided is capable of maintaining a household, rearing children, and maintaining a family calendar.
Well, things like that are subjective. Things like that are subjective. Even people who came up with fathers and things like that, there's certain qualities. What are qualities, just like positives and negatives? What are positives and negatives for one person aren't going to be the same for the next. We equate positives with good, negatives with bad, but that doesn't work. A positive is give or take, give or take. How does this affect you? It is subjective to each person.
What you are saying is that if I'm putting on the responsibility of a man to provide, that the woman has no responsibility. I never said that. The woman does have responsibility.
I didn't say you said that.
The word financial is not in front of her responsibilities, but other things is in front of the word responsibility. Household responsibilities.
No, but it gives her an out, because let's say this is what I keep talking about, and this is what I brought up before. Let's say life happens. Do you know how many men that I know that have went with this concept of being the provider? And like I said, they weren't financially ready, but that doesn't mean that they don't have the right to be in a relationship. But they were the financial provider, and it went awry for them, went horrible for them. When you do this, when you say you can't be a man, and that doesn't leave room for the woman to have a mind of her own and be able to look and say, no, I see something great within this man. I see something building within this man. It's just spreading it all out to say, oh no, he ain't got nothing going on. If I can't see the results of anything, you shouldn't be married, no nothing. You shouldn't be in no marriage. Marriage that's just a title. A relationship with a person is a relationship with a person. Those are legal documents and things like that. All we got is our balls and our word. So you either with a person, you either down or you're not. It's filing status. With the you don't leave space for life to happen, especially if the man is building. And like I said, a job is not a place to be on. We all agreed on this. And it's like that for a reason, because in an ideal world, there would be no problem with having a job in an ideal world. But we're not talking about ideal. We're talking about realistic, which we have to get realistic with the dynamic of a relationship. If you do that, now there's reasons why we don't get on jobs, because you can, whatever it may be, you can get discriminated against. You may not get a fair shake. You're not getting paid enough, whatever. Life happens, health, all type of things come into play. If you set the bar, there has to be a bar be set. There has to be but there has to be different standards. It can't just be monetary. I don't have a problem with a person getting with a person because they have monetary means and things like that. Those are assets, whatever. But there has to be, but you can't build a foundation on money, because we don't run the banking, so we don't run the money system. So we don't even know if the current form of currency will even be around. You can't pass those values down the generations. Money is just a tool. Money is ammunition. Money is ammunition to get to fight and play the game.
But you can pass down knowledge. That's what we're supposed to do. We're
pass down knowledge. Exactly.
To the next generation.
Exactly.
When you were talking about
a man should be the provider.
Right.
What you do with this?
Go ahead.
What you do when you don't allow you this is what they've always did, and this has always been a method to emasculate, namely the black man. Because it takes that power away, and now you can sit there and say he's not a man now. He's not a man now. When you sit there and emasculate him in an economically, mentally, but we're talking about economically, been affected economically also. You room for that to happen. And now you're going on and saying now there's no way he can be a man because he doesn't have it at that point. You leave room open for these different things. This is what this was built. This is what the system, this is what the country was built off of. So we can have these disputes. That's what you're saying when you say it's 2019. It's not just 2019. This is what it's always been.
Oh yeah.
This is what it's always been. Nowadays, everybody's feeling it. Not just black men. It's white men are feeling this.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't everybody out here talking? They're feeling it too.
Yeah.
They're feeling it too. So you don't leave any room. That's very dangerous.
Okay.
Very dangerous to do that.
Okay, well, I got two things. One, somebody put on from YouTube, and then something I got for myself. You said the 18-year-old. Like when you said that or whatever, that he doesn't have anything, or he pretty much doesn't have anything. He should have been groomed. I know that could offend some people, but the family, the woman and or man in his life, the father or mother in his life, or never mind. Yeah, like I was saying, the father and or mother.
It's deeper than grooming. It's deeper than grooming.
Should have installed that in.
Y'all need to follow, because don't just go off me. Follow Antonio Moore. And follow Antonio Moore, leader of the ADOS. He'll break it down perfectly. It's deeper than just because you can groom, you can tell people things, but if you don't have do you think white folks, a lot of white folks, like I said, we can't say everybody, but do you think a lot of these white folks got to where they got, you know what I'm saying, off of grooming? Off of just grooming through morals and stuff, huh?
When I mean groom, I mean the knowledge that was passed down from them
it's
to the
deeper
kids.
than knowledge. The table is set for a lot of people. You have to have the resources. You have to have the opportunity
and
to make that.
That's where I was going to get with what you were saying. The white man or the white kid. You know what I'm saying? Like they have the knowledge of not their parents, because their parents might not be there at all times. That they get the higher educations. They get the money, you know what I'm saying, because most of them actually have most of the elite kids will have money to when they go from high school and stuff like that, to be able to do all these things and all these extra things and stuff like that. We don't got that.
But the money makes up. It's not about knowledge with them. There's a lot of time the money makes up for the mistakes. It allows them to make the mistakes, and that's why I say experience. Dropped off.
Yeah, I have no clue. Share phone might.
The money allows them to make those type of mistakes. When you sit there and box black men in, and I don't want to. What the dude said was solid. Especially from when you're built like this. A man is built to, you know what I'm saying, built to provide. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Especially, man can't get pregnant. When thinking from a biological, if you're talking about raising kids and things like that, the woman has to be there, because first of all, the woman got to have time to have the opportunity to take time off.
Right.
So we're making kids, but a lot of people aren't taking that into account and just dropping kids. Woman has to take time off so the baby can be 100% or have the best health possible. Can't be at work stressing and trying to move and stressing about this and that. That's to have as little stress as possible. So we're talking from a practical and biological level.
Right. I get that. And I said I get that. And then so getting back to, because that kind of brings into the
and dealing with the kids. The kids. But we're talking about, can a man be a man? He can't be a man if he can't provide.
I mean, and like I said earlier, if you can't provide, you're looked down upon. But getting to this YouTube question,
exactly.
The person said, I don't know if it's a man or a woman. So she said, or she or he said, "What about the dudes who sleep? What about the dudes who sleep on the couch while the wife works 40 hours?
We're not
a week?
talking about. We're not talking about them. We're not talking about them because, of course, we have that. You know what I'm saying? That happens. But when you do that, you just assume that every single person that is unemployed is just sitting on the couch sleeping, and that's dangerous. Just as dangerous as what Amanda Seals. There's no way to quantify that. Especially when you know people that go out and grind. You know people that sit there, bust their ass, work all damn day. It's not just cut and dry. It's not that cut and dry. People who are trying to start their own businesses. It's not that cut and dry. It's extremely dangerous, and that falls within the emasculation of just not just the black man, because they use the black man as the guinea pig, but just men in general. You emasculate the man, you can get to the woman. You emasculate the man, you can get to the woman. The men are the men show. Remember, men and women can show masculine traits. Masculinity is what wins these wars, so to say. Not just on a physical level, but on a mental level. We think when we equate things that are masculine, like I said, that's not just exclusive to men. But if you take that element out, if you systematically take that element out, it removes that, and it basically makes the people subservient, man. I ain't got no more of this, man. Where Lauren at?
Yeah, I don't know where Lauren is, but
where the other Lauren? Where both Laurens at?
I don't know. I just texted.
Nah, Lauren said he
had a session.
He's spending the night. I need to get back in the lab too, man. I need to make some new songs just for my listening. You know, I ain't rapping none of that no more. But.
All right, so yeah, man. This has been another episode of the Word on the Ave. Yeah, man. Shout out to all the Facebook fans or all the Facebook family that's been that was viewing. Shout out to everybody that was on YouTube that was viewing. Shout out to everybody who will probably listen to this later on.
Let us know what y'all think.
Yeah, please let us know what y'all think, man. And
let us know what y'all think and be 100. You know what I'm saying? And use your brains. Just be real. And
if any females would like to give their thought process on this, man, just let us know. Yeah, just write us in, or write in on the Facebook page or the YouTube page. Shout out to the BitChute family.
Male, female. Because we can't just assume that males are gonna agree with what I'm saying or whatever.
Oh, that's factual. That's factual.
Anybody.
And if we missed anything, let us know. Yeah, like I said, shout out to BitChute, shout out to the SoundCloud family, iTunes family. Shout out to everybody that's been rocking with us, man. With all that being said, we're out, man. Peace.